Hello there. Welcome back to another episode of Darth Marshall Builds here on Midland Earth with me, Lewis Marshall. Apologies, it's been a while since I've done one of these. August and early September has been quite hectic with the day-to-day job, but I'm back on it now, so hopefully I'll be able to start making this more of a weekly show to go along with what Matt and JJ are doing. So today I'm going to be looking at reviewing the latest Lego Collectable Minifigure Series, which is based on Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This came out earlier this month. I've managed to collect all 12 minifigs that are available over the course of the last week, and of that I've only actually picked up 2 duplicates, which I think is pretty good going really. So we'll start off with Miles Morales, or Spider-Man. This latest minifigure has a nice design, which is more in line with what he looks like in the Spider-Verse films, rather than what he looks like in the comics / the Marvel PS4 5 game. Torso and arms have got a nice update compared to the minifigure that we had earlier in the year. This time he's got his bioelectric venom powers showing across the front of the chest and nicely down each of the arms. The legs as well, compared to the figure that came out previously in the Miles Morales versus the Spot set earlier in the year, have also got some additional printing on, whereas that one didn't. It's not the best, mainly because of the colour balance. I mean, obviously, as you know, Miles is in a black suit, but this has got some little blue detailing on it, but because it's quite dark, it is difficult to see. As with every minifig in this particular set, they've all got a dual printed head, as well as some of them obviously got a second head for the masks. So Miles has got a smiling variation and then what looks like a bit of an annoyed expression, which obviously you can swap and change depending on how you want him to look, or swap it out of his mask, which is also, compared to the last one, had the bioelectric powers sort of printed in and around the eyes. Next up, we have Gwen Stacy / Spider-Gwen. So it's another character which Lego has done multiple releases on. And again, this one is much more closer to the way that she looks in the Spider-Verse films compared to how others have been released. The torso printing is very similar to what you've had in previous releases. I've got 2, so you can see that they are fairly similar in the way that they look. But this particular minifigure now has a very nice web detailing down the arms, which the previous ones didn't have. So it makes her again look much more how she would look in the film, and I think in some of the comic variations as well. The legs are again much better. Previously, they've just been standard black legs, whereas this one has been dual molded so that it looks like she is wearing the sort of turquoise Converse that you see her wearing within the films, which is really good. I think it's quite a nice detail they've added there. But then moving on to the headpiece, again, dual molded, dual printed, I should say, smile or an angry face. The piece that wins out here is the hairpiece, which is far better than what it has been in the previous sets. I'm sure JJ would agree, because he's all about people having decent hairstyles. You get it so that it falls down the left side of the face, and then you've got the nice little pink highlights at the end of it, which is how again Gwen looks within the Spider-Verse films. It's a great little minifig. And then the other figure that we've got that's must have 20 to 30 different variations now is Peter Parker / Spider-Man. I think I've probably got around 10 actually myself. Obviously, in the Spider-Verse films, this is a much more grown-up Peter Parker, so this particular minifig reflects that, as the character comes also with his daughter, May / Mayday Parker. I enjoy this figure as it's classic Peter Parker, because the figure perfectly shows the main thing that Peter struggles with, which is balancing his 2 lives. So you've got the classic Spider-Man outfit underneath, to obviously show his superhero persona, and then over the top of it, it's got a pink dressing gown, and he's wearing some white slippers, which is obviously him in his dad mode. So it's brilliantly showing the sort of Peter having to juggle both of his lives at once, which is obviously something that we're all aware that Peter Parker struggles with. Headpiece on this figure again, 2 sides printing, so smiling and a worried look, sporting his stubbly face, because again he's a grown-up Peter Parker this time. And then the figure itself, as I mentioned, also comes with a little May Parker figure, which can be attached to the main figure via a little baby carrier. The promotional pictures, which I'll put in here, will show it. You'll have normally Peter carrying made it at the front, but I personally prefer it with the carrier on the back, so that you can still see the printing of the main Peter Parker figure. Normally with the little baby figures that you get in Lego these days, it's just like a single colour body and then just a little head, but the head that they've done this time is quite nice because they've had it so that she's sort of half wearing a Spider-Man mask. So you can see the mask, and then obviously you got a little baby face smiling underneath, which I think is quite good. Really good figure that represents Peter Parker as a grown-up, still struggling with his normal day-to-day life and his superhero persona. Figure number 4 that I want to talk about is Miguel O'Hara / Spider-Man 2099. Now, this is the first 2099 minifig that I've got in my collection, but I believe there may be 1 or 2 others out there. So again, it's a great minifigure in terms of the printing. It's pretty much all over the torso. You've got it front and back, down the arms, even the legs have got printing on it, which is really, really good. He also comes with an additional plastic cape, which I think is sort of simulating a web cloak that he has within the films itself. And with it actually being plastic, it's a bit, because Lego are trying to move away from that at the moment. You typically have the standard fabric cloaks that they come with. Well, they've actually started putting in rubber ones now. I know that I've got a Thor and a Loki minifig that have both got a rubber cape now, and I think one of the recent Batman releases also has a rubber cape. So they're trying to move away from the plastic ones. But this has been used as plastic because obviously it's better for simulating the sort of red webbing that's coming down the back. The additional piece that he comes with is like a very small translucent orange minifig. So I think it's simulating perhaps a hologram that you probably see within the film itself. Looks really good. But the headpiece in this, again, dual printed. So you've got him sort of smiling and then very angry face, but it really actually gives me Willem Dafoe, Norman Osborn / Green Goblin vibes. I've got that version of the minifig from the No Way Home final battle, so I'll put them side by side to sort of give you a comparison. The facial expressions are very similar. The hair design is exactly the same, but obviously a lighter shade of brown to the Willem Dafoe one. I just think it's another one where Lego's sort of reusing previous prints and molds. We move on now to some of the more exclusive figures from this particular range. We'll kick off with Pavita Prabhakar, or Spider-Man India. Printing again on this particular figure is fantastic. The colours that are being used are the classic Spidey colours, so your red, your blue, and your whites, but they're lighter. And you get a small amount of orange and gold in there as well. The Spider logo that's been put on, obviously, on this is a completely new design, because obviously it's depending on the variants that you get from the multiverse, you will have a slightly different Spider design. And the same with the mask, but it's really, really good. Headpiece is another solid win, with a nice hairpiece to go with it. So, like he's got his little bandana to keep the fringe out of his face. And then the set comes with him holding his little cup of tea. But what really, really like with this particular minifigure is the little cat sidekick that comes with him. And again, he's wearing his own little Spider-Man mask, which is a nice little feature. Then we've got the Peter Parker / werewolf Spider-Man. Now, this figure itself is the typical werewolf figure that Lego has released before. I've actually got one that came with the Creator 3-in-1 Haunted House set. So you can see that the figs themselves are identical in terms of the moulding. But what's great with this is the way that Lego have actually printed on to this werewolf one the torn Spider-Man suit across the figure, and it blends in really well with the fur printing that you get sort of throughout where there's been tears on the suit. You get that across the arms, the legs, and even the torso. And then if you look down on the right boot as well, you actually see that the boot itself is intact, but the werewolf claws are poking through, which is a nice little bit of detail. On a side note, actually, if anyone wanted to really put the effort in, and I mean real effort here, I think this would make a really good Halloween costume, Spider-Man werewolf. Maybe someone out there has already done it. If so, put the picture down in the comments. Next up, moving on to the Margot Kess / Spider-Bite minifig. Now, I don't know too much about this particular character, I will admit, but from the research that I've done looking into the character, Spider-Bite comes from a universe where people are predominantly spending most of their time online. So Margot's hero is to reflect this. So she'll be fighting crime both sort of in and out of cyberspace by the sounds of it. The minifigure has a great colour scheme of pinks, purples and blues, which I think looks to reflect this sort of cyber style that they're going for. And you get that in the sort of semi-transparent legs as well, almost as if she's either coming or going from cyberspace, which I think is really good. Obviously the headpiece and the hands are a very light blue, again probably to sort of simulate the cyberspace look that they're going for. But the helmet that you get, the mask that you get with this, is really good because it's sort of it's very much been dual molded so that the mask covers the front half of the head, but then has the sort of hair sticking out the back, the little space buttons that she's got. So that's a really good little touch that they've got there to help reflect how she would look within the films as well. Then we have the Hobie Brown / Cyberpunk minifig. Again, I think there has been one, possibly two Cyberpunk minifigures released before. This is the first one that I've got within my collection, so I'm not able to compare myself. But this is a fantastic minifigure. The printing on this one is incredibly detailed, all over the figure itself, from the sort of the denim jacket at the front and the back, torn trousers at the bottom, on the bottom half of the legs of the minifigure, even to the guitar accessory that comes with it. You can see not only have you got the strings, obviously got the guitar, but it's covered in little stickers and dents and stuff, which is fantastic. But not only that, the printing on Hobie's head as well is really good. So again, like with everyone in this set, it's got two different face prints, but you've even got the little eyebrow piercings on either side. And I think it's possibly either a stud or a lip, a ring on the lips as well. So that's showing obviously sort of the punk style that he's got within this particular character. And then you swap that out for the mask head, and you can see obviously it's really got the detailed sort of punk look in terms of the eyes on there, and then you get the spikes that go across the top of the head as well. It's a great minifigure. I wish I had the original Spider-Punk so we could really look at comparing it, because I imagine the differences between them are probably quite strong. Next up, we've got Petra Parker, which is Cyborg Spider-Woman. It's a strong release in terms of the printing on this. You've got printing pretty much all over the minifig to give it that cyborg feel. Sort of chains across the front of it, different sort of mouldings on the arms and the legs to show that this character's gone through the ringer. From what I understand, Cyborg Spider-Woman took part in some robotic wars in her particular universe, and obviously she's had some damage caused, which has led to her becoming a bit more of a cyborg. But you get some additional accessories to go on this to really give her the cyborg feel. So there's some additional belt with pouches to go across the middle of that. A really nice sort of face mask that covers the front half of the bottom half of the face, which then molds into a shoulder pauldron with spikes on it. But then what steals it and really gives it that sort of cyborg feel is the right arm on this particular figure. As far as I'm aware, potentially a unique arm that goes on this particular figure because it's really giving off that robotic feel, and then you add a few pieces at the front to make it look like sort of the robotic Gatling gun arm that she's got within the film. It's a really good figure. Then the next figure that we've got is the Charlotte Webber / Sun Spider figure. What I like about this one is the colour scheme. I feel that the colour scheme looks really red because it works really well. You've got a mix of red, orange, black and silver working into it. It's a really good design. Figure comes with a grey baseball ball cap that goes on backwards with the little spider logo on it. And sort of covers the mask / head. And then the figure comes with two little crutch pieces as well, which reflects the character's disability that she has within the film. sort of in her day-to-day. She's in a wheelchair, from what I understand, but then obviously when she's out fighting crime, she has crutches to help with her mobility instead. I've noticed that this is something that Lego is actually trying to do a little bit more with their minifigs in recent years, particularly within their Lego City sets, to try and reflect the diversity in society and that there are people out there with disabilities. So you get figures now that, as I say, come in wheelchairs and have hearing aids. I've noticed that there's one out there that's got a prosthetic hand. There's a blind one as well with a guide dog. So they're really looking to reflect that, and the fact that they've now got a superhero character as well that has a disability in there is really, really good. Moving on to the second to last figure in the series, we have Patrick O'Hara / Web Slinger. What more can I say? This is Spider-Man as a cowboy. The accessories are what really sell him as being a cowboy. You've got him having a small poncho that you can put over the left or right shoulder with the spider logo and nice little webbing detailing on it. He has a bandana, which obviously then looks to cover half of his face because the Spider-Man mask is clearly not enough to hide his identity. He also feels he needs to have a bandana as well. You've then got the typical cowboy hat and a lasso as well. And then the additional accessory to this is that Spider-Man comes with his trusty steed, which again, like the cat from the Spider-Man India figure, is wearing a nice little mask. The only letdown really I've got to say about this is that the horse isn't to scale, so you can't actually have web slingers sat on it like you would do. So it might have been that maybe that one would possibly need to have costed a little bit more, and then it's a giveaway. It takes away that blind pull that you get from collecting these particular series. But it would have been nice for it to have been more to scale, so you can sit web slinger into the horse. And then the last figure in the collection brings us back full circle. It's another Miles figure, but this is Miles G. Morales / the Prowler. Now, the Prowler character that I'm aware of is the one from the Marvel Spider-Man games, where it's Miles' uncle Aaron that is the Prowler. But I guess, when you're going into the multiverse and things, there's probably a version of the Prowler where it's actually Miles taking on that role. This is what you've got within the Spider-Verse films. Colour scheme is very much typical Prowler. It's a nice mix of light and dark purples. And then you've got the grey sort of techno gauntlets that go onto the hands, and then the mask as well. I really like again that the mask you've got is dual moulded, so that it's covering the front half of the face, but then you've still got the hair braids that come out the back, which is a great unique mould. Obviously it's only ever going to really fit to this particular minifig, so it's certainly one that's probably going to hold its value later down the line. You've then got a fabric neck piece which goes around to give it a nice little collar. The figure also comes with what looks like a vinyl record, which is always hinting at Miles' musical background, which you certainly get in the PlayStation games, and I imagine you probably get that in the film as well. But overall, I think it's a great collectible minifigure series. It's got a nice diverse collection of figures, which would be great for any collector to add to their Marvel Lego cities if that's what you're building. Out of the 12 favourites, probably going to be, it's probably a toss up between the Sun Spider and the Spider Punk. I think those two are really, really good. I do feel that this particular CMF series should have come out probably closer to the film's release to tie it in a little bit more. But I'm guessing that Lego needed to get the designs and such, and maybe Sony and Marvel weren't willing to release that earlier to maybe try and avoid some spoilers, but that's only a little minor thing. Maybe we'll get a follow-up series with some extra characters when the third film comes out. What do you think of this collectible minifigure series? Are you going to be picking them up? Have you already completed the set like I have? Which is your favourite? And what CMF sets would you like to see coming out in the future? Let me know down in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and look out for more from myself and then Matt's movie news on a Monday, JJ's random rants on a Wednesday, plus other reviews, news, videos, and our fellowship videos that will be coming out in the future. But that's all from me here on Middle and Earth. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again soon.